Hello everyone, my name is Satyam Raha. In this video, let's solve a complex pattern. By complex, I mean like this. Let's say I have this chart. What do you think? This is not complex, right? So let's make it complex. Okay, so it looks to me like a crown. So maybe I'll call it crown pattern. I don't know what its name is. Okay, I just came up with it with this idea or with this pattern. Okay, so for 3 lines it should be like this. Let's say for 4 lines it should look something like 4. Okay, 1 2 3, 1 2 and 1. It should look like this for 4 lines. So you have to think, that there is, just break it, always break it down into parts to to make it simple. Okay, always break it down. Although the pattern looks intact, let's break it down. So you see there are two patterns, right? One from the left side, another from the right side. So obviously you have to understand there are some stars to the left, there is some space in the middle, and there is some stars to the right. In this way I will solve it. You may use any approach, but what I am saying right now, I'll solve in this approach. Okay, you might come up with better approaches. So let me know in the comment section if you have come up with other approaches. Okay, it might not be better, but if you come up with other approaches, please comment it down. So let's see how to solve it. So this is line number 1, line number 2, line number 3. So number of stars are fine, right? On the left side, so maybe I can use one variable for left stars, maybe one variable for right star, and another variable for space. Okay, all the way for spaces. So if I do that, you'll see number of stars is directly connected to the line number. At line number 1, we have 1 star to the left side, 1 star to the right side. Keep it separate. Okay, that will make it easy. Otherwise, you will have to print 2 stars. You will have to keep 4 stars in second line. Do not do that. It will be better if you make it into half. So line number 1, we have 1 star to the left, 1 star to the right. Line number 2, we have 2 stars to the left, 2 stars to the right. Line number 3, we have 3 stars to the left and 3 stars to the right. Right. So in this way, you can solve the stars. What about the spaces? You see, we have 1 2 space here, 1 2 space here. That means 4 spaces. We have 1 space here, 1 space here. So 2 spaces in line number 2 and 0 space in line number 3. Can you think of some pattern? No. Let's see for a bigger example. So 2 spaces, 1 2 1 2 and 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? So what is happening? You can see that at line number 1 we have these like 4 spaces, right? And at each line the number of spaces is decremented by 2. That is fine, but how to come up with the number of spaces at the beginning? At the beginning we have 4 spaces. That is a question, right? Now how do you solve it? Okay, let's say for 3 lines, if we have 3 lines, see, our main target is to find the number of spaces in the first line. If we can find that out, we can simply decrement it by 2 in the subsequent lines. That is not an issue. But the problem or main goal is to find the number of spaces at the first line. So let's try to correlate it with the total number of lines. Let's say total number of lines is 3. Then it is starting with 4, right? 4 spaces. If we have number of lines as 4, we see that number of spaces is starting with 6. Obviously 3 on the left side, 3 on the right side. In this way it is increasing. So if the total number of lines is 5, we can think that it will have 4 spaces to the left and 4 spaces to the right. So it will make it 8 spaces at the line number 1. For 6, it will be 10, right? So what do you think is happening? How can you solve it? How can you correlate with this line number? Can you correlate 3 with 4, 4 with 6, 5 with 8, 6 with 10? This is again a logical thinking. Follow my thinking pattern. That will help you to solve it in another way, or maybe solve another problem. You can see this 4, 6, 8, 10, it is incrementing by 2. That is fine. But how to relate it? You can see automatically when I have considered 4 different number of lines, you can see 3 multiplied by 2 will be 6, and it is not 6, but it is 2 less than 6. Same, 4 into 2 is 8. It is 8 less, it's 8 minus 2, right? Same goes with 5. So it is basically 3 into 2 minus 2, right? It is basically, sorry, 4 into 2 minus 2. Likewise, isn't it? Can you get the pattern now? So this is basically 5 into 2 minus 2. That is 10 minus 2 is 8. So if you can find this out, the problem is solved at all. This is the main logic which you need to understand, because the earlier logics were very simple. But this logic to find the number of spaces at the beginning, if we can find this number of spaces at the line number 1, you can simply decrement the number of spaces by 2 in the subsequent lines, and that will solve the problem, right? So you just needed to find the number of spaces at line number 1, and this is how you can find it. This is basically line into 2 minus what? 2. That's it. So let's solve it. So this first loop is for printing the number of lines, as you know it already. If you do not know it, go to my previous video, it will make it clear. And now I will simply write 3 loops. Maybe one loop is for the left stars, the second loop is for the number of spaces, and the third loop is for the right stars. So let's write some for loops. Let's say for int j equals to 1, j less than equals to L star. Maybe I do not have L star, I will define it afterwards. Let's write the body of the method, body of the for loop first. And what I need to do, I need to simply print the stars. Okay, how many times? L star times. What is L star? I have not defined it yet. I'll define it afterwards. And so I'll simply print nothing but star. Okay, and I will not make it println, I will make it print. Again, why I'm making it print, if you are confused, if you are watching this video for the first time, you can go to the previous videos and that will make it clear. Okay, so another loop is say k, and this loop is simply for, okay, I have missed j here. Okay, so k less than equal to space. I do not know how many spaces. I'll do calculate it afterwards. I'm just writing the body. Okay, what I need to do here is simply print some space, right? That's it. And delete the print ln. And next is I'll write another loop which is for the right star. So maybe int t equals to say 1 and t less than equals to r star, maybe the right star, and t plus plus. After that, maybe I will simply print, okay, let me switch it off. Okay, so I will simply print a star here, right, the right star, and make it print from println. And when I have completed all these things, what I need to do, I need to print a new line here. That's it. Now see, we have to initialize L star space and R star, right? So L star is nothing but it will start with how many? It will start with basically L star. How many? L star is specifying how many stars, how many left stars should I print. So at line number 1, we should print 2 stars. At line number 3, you should print 3 stars. So it is directly I, right? So I can simply write here int L star equals to say, what should I say? Let's, okay, I don't think I need a left star, right? I can simply make it I times, isn't it? Because it is directly proportional or directly correlated. 1, line number 1, so I loop is 1 and J loop should run 1 time. I loop is 2, so J loop will need to execute 2 times. So I can directly make it right and left stars. I can directly make it I, dependent on I. Okay, and what about the space? The space should begin with, as I came up with the formula, it should start with line into 2 minus 2. Done. Okay, so this is the number of space. Now will it work? If I execute, it will not work, I think. Okay, my max battery is very low. Let me finish it very quick. Let's say 5, and it is not working, right? And the only reason for this, what I can think of, is I have not decremented the spaces, right? Many of you have guessed, I guess. So let's decrement it by 2, because the spaces are decremented by 2. Let's execute it now, and obviously when I'm confident, I'll be executing the pattern programs with a huge number, maybe say 20. Let's execute it. Yes, that is satisfaction. Fantastic. Let's execute it for a huge, maybe even huge. Wow. And it is great. This somehow looks like a Bermuda Triangle, maybe, or maybe the king's crown. I think whatever it is, it looks amazing, right? So this is how you can solve the problems with patterns. In the next video, maybe I'll come up with some pattern if I find it difficult. Okay, so till then, see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.